Welcome back to the Dean Obeidallah Show. Right now, very happy to have on for the first time. Finally, we got Jim Gaffigan, award-winning comedian, New York Times bestselling author, eight-time Grammy nominated for his comedy albums, and he's got a brand new special out right now on Hulu, which is really funny, called The Skinny. Jim, nice to see you. I've known Jim for years. We haven't chatted in a while, but it's great to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Dean. It's great. And, we've known each other many moons.
Yes, I,
Hamburger Harry's days, right?
Gladys Simon is actually here in my apartment. She wants to say hi. She ran. I still bump into Gladys. She runs. She did a show for new comics, and Jim and I. That's where I met you 20
Yeah.
something years ago. She still does it the comic strip here. So every now and then I see her if she's running her Tuesday night thing, and she
Sh
always tells me when she's ready, she's going to audition for the big stuff. You know.
she's a real sweetie. I mean, but it is so bizarre, right? The different lives that we've led. It's an amazing thing, and congratulations on all your success, Dean. It's great.
Well,
Very
thank you, but
happy.
yours is far eclipses it. Although I must say, I'm not even kidding. On Gladys's flyer for new comics, she has the success stories from her venue, her clubs, and yours first. And I'm like fourth. I'm like, none of
Oh,
them know me
really?
as a comic. They're like, it's not the guy from MSNBC that rants about stuff. It's like, yeah, that's me. But then it's like Zach Galifianakis. It's like you and Zach, and there were other comics who were really good who. Like Leo Allen and Slovin, and them that were there, and a few others,
Yeah.
but they kind of went to the writing route and kind of disappeared. People, the younger generation doesn't know them, but they were great.
Yeah, I mean these 90s comics, like people don't understand that. This is before satellite radio and before YouTube and way before streaming. There were these 90s comics that started after this comedy boom ended in the 80s. We're in another comedy boom right now. And so there are these comics that, like you and I, that lived in New York, and we couldn't get on stage at comedy clubs. So we were so grateful for rooms like Gladys's and it's just like a lot of nostalgia with that odd time, right? It was in Times Square, it was a burger place, it was in a back room, but such valuable stage time.
It was, and people don't realize this. All comedians generally start the same. Today's a little different with social media. You can make videos first and then go on
Yeah.
stage, but generally, and I remember Aziz Ansari being a new comic, sitting there, and we would talk in his notebook, and he'd still
Yeah.
be arrogant and a prick to me, even when he wasn't famous, which is kind of remarkable. Like Aziz was always at, and then when he got famous, he was the same to me. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that he's stayed consistent,
Yeah.
Aziz, over the years.
No,
Um,
I don't, there's some people that, I mean, I have such a horrible memory. Like people are like, I worked with you. And, I work a lot at Gotham
yeah.
but, that's what's so exciting about, I mean, I'm so grateful that I can tour and perform in these great venues because I feel like I earned it. Like there's a lot of schlepping around and going up in these odd rooms, but I love it.
That should be the name of your next special. I earned this,
Oh,
because
well,
you did no, but you did. And here's something that's always stayed with me. I'm completely serious, and it's the work ethic that you had. I remember when you were Caroline's used to be in Times Square, and you weren't headlining yet, but you were sort of like middling, and you would do these spots, which was such a big deal as a comic at our level. And then you would come in between your spots back to Gladys's on the Saturday night when it was a real show, but it's like 20 people for you to work on new material. And just
yeah,
I think it was last night or 2 nights ago you were at Gotham. I saw Harris Stanton posted a picture with you.
yeah.
Your work ethic is unparalleled, even to this day. But in the early years, what drove you? Because you were out there doing spot after spot after spot every night, all night, late night, early, whatever it was. What drove you?
Yeah, I was just trying to get my dad to like me. No, I think that it really, I mean, I think it comes down to I like the process. Do you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it doesn't I mean, I'm sure you feel this way too. It's like I tried a lot of things, but like with stand up, writing it and evolving material. I mean, even like the skinny, how like it's a reflection of what my life is like now. I
Hmm.
started stand up really, doing observational stuff and complaining about my dad, and now I'm complaining about my teenagers. So it really has evolved a lot. I mean, I used to be like I can't get a date, and then I got married, so it's just changing a lot.
It's it is remarkable, but it's authentic to you, and that's what's important. But your work ethic, and the other person who had a great work ethic, or at least would tell me to have a great work ethic, with Colin Quinn, who I used to work with Colin, and he'd be like, "There's 90% perspiration and 10% inspiration," and would yell at
Yeah,
me like, "Are you working hard? Are you getting out there and doing spots?" And like years ago, I would see him, and
yeah,
but it's true. People, when newer comics talk to me, and they go, "What kind of advice do you have?" And I'm like, "Do you have any other skills?" That's the first thing, and then they go, "No." I'm
yeah,
like, "Okay, so you're stuck with this, huh?" So
yeah,
write, get on stage all the time, rewrite. But now it's a social media aspect as well, to be blunt. If you're not posting on Instagram, if TikTok, whatever your platform you like, you're not getting known. And it hastens someone can become a headliner in a couple of years through TikTok and Instagram that years ago would take you 10, 12 years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what's so amazing about stand up. It evolves as a business and it also evolves. I mean, every decade of stand up kind of changes. I know people kind of get outraged about uh, the influence of politically correct material and stuff like that. I think that there's always a level of kind of cultural censorship that influences each kind of decade or time period. And so like what Bill Hicks did doesn't work now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, he that doesn't mean that he's not brilliant, but like some of what he says or how he says it is just it's shocking. And so like I think adjusting over decades is really kind of a vital thing. And that's why greats like Chris Rock and Seinfeld are so unique because, if you can do it, Chris Rock in the 90s and Chris Rock today, still, I mean, I don't know if you saw his SNL monologue. It was
Yeah, I did.
brilliant.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. I'm chatting with Jim Gaffigan. Jim, I want to talk about SNL for a second, and then we'll talk about the skinny. That you played Tim Walz. People may or not
Yes.
know that was Jim Gaffigan. I'm sure people know comedy and know it uh, was Jim. Tim Walz, the running mate of Vice President Harris, and you did a great job. It was very fun. You made him Midwestern, which you are,
Yeah.
likable, affable, all that stuff. But I also wondered, you don't talk about politics much. And was there any hesitancy for you to take on that role as a Democratic Vice President nominee?
Yeah, there is, it's it, we live in, and I don't have to tell you this, we live in very kind of divided times, and you're gonna alienate people. I mean, even just doing CBS Sunday morning commentaries, I've witnessed the uh the outrage machine, or maybe just people are they kind of they don't hold back like they used to. Like if they're like, I didn't enjoy that, like there's an engagement with kind of like an anger that wasn't existing before. But so like I knew that I would get some blowback, on either side because, if the right, you're kind of supporting them. And if the left, you're kind of like, how are you endangering this? So, I mean, that was my approach for Tim Walz. And also when I did the Al Smith dinner, it's like
Mhm.
I knew that I was going to lose people on either side. But some of it is, as a creative person, you have to challenge yourself. And, like, look, you've done it too in kind of talking about how you feel about things. You're going to alienate people, but you have to remain authentic to your beliefs, right? And so
Right.
I love politics. I instinctively know that people do not want to hear about it from me. But there comes, I mean, the Al Smith dinner from a historical standpoint, I think is a really special place. And some of it is fun, but when I started the Al Smith dinner, when I walked up there, I was like, what am I doing? I'm not even a roast comic. You know what I mean? Like, there are great roast comedians. I turned down the White House Correspondents
You
dinner a
did?
couple times. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's just like, it's not my wheelhouse. It's just kind of, stepping into, just a level of criticism that I don't think is necessary. Like I kind of do pride myself, and even with the skinny, it's this special that you can watch with whoever's in your house or apartment at that point. You know what I mean? And so, like, even if I am complaining about teenagers, I don't think that they're going to appreciate the humor of it. You know what I mean? So there is something about bringing people together, and it's like not wanting to do. I mean, I enjoy some of that stuff, but it's not my thing. You know?
Oh, I met Obama in 2015 and I said, I'll do the dinner for free. I will work for food. I'm not even kidding. He's laughed.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't pick it. I'm like, well, who picks it? You're the president. And it's the White House Correspondent Association that picks it.
Yeah.
I know.
Of course.
But let's talk. I'm chatting with Jim Gaffigan. Let's talk about the special, the skinny. I mean, the skinny, obviously, you open right up talking about what it
Yeah.
means. You lost 50, 50 plus
Yeah.
pounds.
50 pounds. Yeah, I don't know. I keep gaining it back. You know what I
Do
mean?
you
But
really?
like,
But you
well,
did it because there was a horrific accident you were involved in, right? No, that wasn't.
yes,
You
it was.
you talk about open and honestly about taking medication,
Yeah.
not Ozempic, but another one,
Yeah,
and
Manjaro. It's like
my
a shot. And, I mean, even back in the Gladys days, like I've always, some of it is impulsivity or addiction. It's, but like eating's always been a thing for me. So back in the Gladys days, I was working out twice a day. And of course, you can
wow,
do that in your 20s or 30s, but like eventually your body's like, no, you're not doing that. So
right?
I had gained a fair amount of weight. My doctor was like, you want to try this? I mean, you're kind of pre-diabetic. You probably should try it. And I was like, all right, it's probably not going to work, but it ended up working great. And I still get to eat the food that I, love. I just eat it like a normal human, finally.
Yeah, but look. If you just ate food, you wouldn't lose weight. You would keep your thing. You joked about how it sucks the joy out of
Oh,
everything.
yeah. Well, some of
But
it
tell,
is,
how does it really work? Like I don't know. How does it work? They
well,
give you a needle and you're like, it's not like they suck things out of you with the needle. They give
no,
you a
I
needle
don't.
and you don't like food anymore.
No, I mean, it's obviously it's individual, but like there's a, and there's, I haven't done extensive research on this, but like it really kind of they don't even necessarily understand how it works, but I mean it could be a really good thing for people that struggle with alcohol and drug abuse or
Mhm.
compulsive behavior. It kind of dampens down this kind of I don't know how to describe it, just where like I've described it before as like instead of eating 3 boxes of Triscuits a night, I'll eat a half a box of Triscuits. You know what I mean? And so, but in this special, I joke around because like a passionate person. I know I seem like this doughy Midwestern guy, but like I am kind of passionate. I can be a nudge. And so it kind of pulls that back a little bit where
Hmm.
like the obsessive side can be dampened down. So that's the humor that I bring up is that it's destroyed the joy, but it's essentially just kind of made me kind of fit more my appearance, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's so funny to about your old clothes are waiting for you in the closet.
Yes,
Like, we'll be back. You'll be
absolutely.
back, buddy. And
Yeah.
everyone knows that. And that's because you're like, it's medicine. I'm not cheating because I'm not a Major League Baseball player. I thought that was very
Yes.
funny because
Okay.
people are like, are you supposed to do it the hard way? I
Right.
also loved your jokes about artificial intelligence, that you've gone as
Oh,
far as you can
thanks.
with your own intelligence. And
Yes.
I think AI is going to kill us all at the end. When I think it's good because a lot of people have kind of sort of anxiety about how it's all going to end. Well, now we know it's AI.
Yes.
At some point, AI just turns on us and kills us in our sleep or something like that. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, there
what
is,
do you like it
it's,
really?
well, I mean, I think, as you know, comedians are very much contrarians, right? So if the
Yeah.
conventional wisdom is that AI is bad, a comedic take is to say, you know what, I like it. And so that's kind of my approach. And my kind of analysis of id or ego is in defense of this lazy ideal. You know what I mean? I'm a bunch of contradictions. I really do kind of pride myself on working hard, but I romanticize laziness. So like there is part of me that's like, that AI thing. And I do have some massive insecurities about my intelligence. So it's like, yeah, I do need it. You know what I mean? It's like
It-
I need spell check. You know what I mean? It's
right.
I,
We all do.
the rewriting I mean, I love writing, and but like, how Charles Dickens wrote a book. It's like I couldn't do that. Like when people would write, and not, I mean, I can't write a tweet or whatever we call it now without editing it 4 times because I forget words, you know?
Well, I mean, look, calculators are AI on some level. We've been using AI all our lives. I mean, something's been helping us all this time. Now they
Yeah.
call it AI. I think Elon Musk might be the first human AI. He's very
Yeah.
unnerving. I don't like him. Have you done jokes about him, or you? Are you?
Just he's a billionaire, so he's going to, I think I had a joke about him. He's just like this famous name, and so like, yeah, I mean, you have to reference him eventually.
He does.
So,
And I'm talking with Jim Gaffigan about his brand new special on Hulu, The Skinny. Before we wrap up, I mean, you talk, it's a holiday season. You talk about religion in the comedy, which I like. You talk about Abraham, which
yeah,
is the
yes,
the common prophet of three faiths, Judaism,
right,
Christianity and Islam. And I've been of two of the three. I haven't
yes,
tested Judaism yet, but I got Christianity and Islam,
yeah.
got both of them. So, how important is religion to you? I remember years ago, your faith was important to you, and my faith is important to me too. And how
Yeah.
does it come up in the holiday season for you and how you
It's
celebrate?
Well, it's for me, it's very interesting because I think some of it is, and I can't speak for you, but I think there is the most punk thing you could do as a comedian is kind of who, these comedians that are cynics in their bones and contrarians is the most contrarian thing you could do is be kind of optimistic and open to faith, right?
Right.
And so, what I love about doing material about religion is that, I mean, there's the tightrope. I love the idea of maybe doing a joke that could appeal to these ardent atheists that I'm friends with and these people that are true believers, And so there is something, and it's also a timeless thing. Like there's really no, I talk about Abraham a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's like, but obviously there's been jokes about Abraham, for like thousands of years. And so I love the challenge of doing it, but I also like the idea of you don't have to explain a lot. You know what I mean? And I think the great irony of the Abrahamic faith is that, we live in this day where like things are messy. And I just had this notion of Abraham looking down going, well, I didn't do that, did I? You know what I mean?
He didn't intend that. I was once on a Mark Maron's radio show and David Cross was there. And I dared to mention, I believe in God. And Mark, who I've known for a long time, was a little incredulous. David Cross, I thought was going to hit me. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm like, my last name, Obeidallah, has the word Allah in it, has God in it. Every
Yeah.
day I'm seeing the word God when I see my name. I'm like, it is part of who I am. I can't help it. But it was very weird to have, although later David was in the documentary we made, The Muslims Are Coming with Nagin Farsad. And he was a great defender of people picking any faith. He's like,
Yes.
you could be atheist or devout. I'm going to defend you. Just, don't force your religion upon me. And I so respected that. And I appreciate that later of David. So, but
Yeah.
Jim, I know you got interviews. It's great chatting. Again, the special, it's on Hulu right now, The Skinny. It's really funny. You can watch with your whole family. A lot of stuff about his family. It was great seeing you. I hope you'll come back on in the future. We'll avoid politics once again. It'll be great.
Of
It's all about
course.
just comedy. Thanks, brother. Have a
Thanks,
great
Dean.
Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Good to see you.